Greetings, everyone. This is, sorry, excuse me. Greetings, this is Zara Berserk here, going berserk to help you as I'm going berserk. Help them leave Islam through Quran ayats showing the Shaitan has touched the job with affliction. No. Has afflicted me, you would say, but there are different translations of Surah Sad, 38, Surah of the Quran, Ayat 41. And remember, a servant job. So, so Shaitan has touched, actually, it says here, the word used on it. So the word used in Surah Anbiya at 83 is this masaniya. Touched. It says touched. I'm not sure how far this is true, the translation even word by word. And so we'll go to Surah Saad also. Just looking for it here. Okay, here it is, I think. Surah Saad, Ayat 41. So going to Ayat 41 now. Hope you can hear me. Oh God. Sorry, excuse me. Ayat 41 says, again, it's the same thing you see here. Masaniya, touched me. So how can Shaitan or Satan touch Job, Ayub? And remember our slave, Ayub, when he called to his Lord, okay, that has touched me, Shaitan. Do you see this? Shaitan here. Shaitanu, with distress and suffering. When in this ayat, these ayats in the Quran, God says, in Surah 16, ayat 99, surely he has no authority over those who believe and rely on the Lord. No authority. Surah 16, ayat 99. And you will say that, of course, Shaitan can touch them with affliction or whatever. And there's another one, Surah Baqarah, 268. Satan threatens you with poverty, okay, and orders you to immorality, while Allah promises you forgiveness. We'll see this with the case of Solomon here in the Quran ayats. That if there's another, I was trying to see if Prophet Muhammad was completely protected from Shaitan. You who were given the scripture, believe in what we have sent down. This will oblit before we. This will come later. So if you are in doubt, no. Surely he has no authority over those who believe and rely on the Lord. Shaitan, he is the Shaitan here in Surah 16, ayat 99. He has no authority over those who believe and rely on the Lord. And Prophet spoke to, this will come later. So let's see the footnotes here about Surah 38 again, ayat 41, under that, Quran.com. Footnote 2 says, this does not mean that Satan has afflicted me with illness and brought distress upon me. The ayat is saying that Job is saying that Satan has afflicted me. Ayub. Job is saying that Satan has afflicted me with illness. Satan has touched me, right? Or even if you put here touched, meaning has afflicted me, but it is saying Satan has afflicted me. He is saying that. And remember our servant Job when he cried out to his Lord, behold, Satan has afflicted me with much hardship and suffering. But no, because the footnote is trying to deny this altogether, and it's giving its own meaning from Quran.com. Abul Ala Maududi. Just a minute, I've got some. Okay. Nothing. Just checking something. So, the footnote, it says here, this does not mean, it doesn't mean that Satan has afflicted me with illness and brought distress upon me, but it means the affliction of the severities of illness. Okay, the affliction of the severities of illness, the loss of property and wealth, and the desertion of the near and dear ones is not so great a torment and trouble for me as the temptation of Satan, who is exploiting my condition to despair me of my Lord, and wants that I should turn ungrateful to him and become desperate and impatient. Well, you would make out from Solomon's ayats that I'm going to show you from the Quran on Solomon, that yes, God forgave Solomon for his crime, for whatever wrong he did. And this means, and God, because Solomon turned to God and asked for forgiveness, then he was given a bounty, a kingdom. He prayed for, and he was given that. So God turned in forgiveness, forgiving Solomon. But it just doesn't make sense to me here, right? Something seems wrong. It's who is exploiting my condition. But then, like the Sunnis would say that, about this Prophet Muhammad's in Surah, where is it? Surely he has threatens you with poverty, and we sent down before you. You see here, Surah 22, Hajj, Ayat 52. And we did not send before you any messenger or prophet except that when he spoke, Satan threw into it, right? In it, some misunderstanding meaning. But Allah abolishes that which Satan throws in, then Allah makes precise his verses, ayats, and Allah is knowing and wise. First of all, I thought, okay, we did not send before you, so it's before the Prophet, this messenger. But this messenger, it doesn't happen to this messenger. But when I read the Shia hadith to tafsir on this ayat, here even the Shia commentary is wrong, because it says the idol worshippers were making noises and saying, glorifying their idols. But look at it, look at this verse, and we did not send before you any messenger or prophet, except that when he spoke, Satan threw into it. But Allah abolishes that which Satan throws, so that now you're here, shaitan would not get you. This is how I got the ayat. And then I found out, reading the Shia tafsir, that I myself am wrong in understanding this ayat. Only before you. So you can, go to a multilingual Quran like I did again, and have a look at this, not this one. Not this one. Oh God, where is it? Sorry, I think, did I open multilingual? I didn't open multilingual. I think I did go there and recently had to read it out. Read this out. Here it is. So I think, yeah, this one. So, yeah, Surah Hajj. Why did it go down like this? What's the... Sorry, I keep forgetting the number. Surah Hajj Ayat 52. Tafsir on that. Surah Hajj Ayat 52. Oh. So, to confuse people so as to make them misinterpret the verses of the Quran, Shaitan plants doubts in their minds about the Holy Prophet and the words of Allah he recited. Some translators and commentators have drawn misconceived and mischievous conclusions to belittle the high status of the Holy Prophet in order to bring him on the level of those ordinary men whom they accept as the leaders mentioned in Surah Qasas Ayat 41. Please refer to the commentary of Bani Israel, Surah Bani Israel Ayat 71. I saw all that. I mean, I didn't have to see, I just checked the Quran ayats. Akamedi is on the leaders. One is on the bad leader, the other is on the leader you choose, and then you'll be raised on that leader. Yeah. So if you choose a bad leader, you'll be raised on that leader. Akamedi Puya says some pagans and hypocrites planned secretly to recite words praising idolatry alongside the recitation of the Holy Prophet while he was praying in such a way that people would think as if they were recited by him. So there goes my bad comprehension. And we did not send before you any messenger or prophet. But when he desired, the shaitan, or recited, I don't know, the shaitan made a suggestion respecting his desire. Here it says desire, not even recitation. But here we have, I thought it was only before this Holy Prophet. Now that the Holy Prophet has come, he can't, Shaitan can't do this to him. But it seems that the pagans and the hypocrites started to praise idolatry, and that's where the Sunnis, there's a tafsir that they think that he himself, Prophet Muhammad himself, recited in praise of some idols of that time. And then that was abrogated and he was corrected and all this. So that's in some hadith, but in the footnote and tafsir, footnotes only I checked, I think, of this ayat in Quran.com, I didn't see anything like that. Surah Hajj is at Quran.com, ayat 52. Surah Hajj. So I'm not quite prepared for 22, ayat 50. You know what's been going around? I think it's 52. I keep forgetting, sorry about this. Yeah, here it is, ayat 52. It is ayat 52. So, Quran.com, the footnotes, they say that, oh God, again I have to try and get my translators. Sorry. So, and we did not send before you any messenger. Just get it before you, Muhammad, but whenever he had a desire, Satan interfered with his desire. It doesn't say recital. Anyways, so this is Abul Ala Maududi's footnote 3 on 3. If the first meaning is taken, it will imply Satan tried to prevent the fulfillment of his desire. If the second meaning is taken, what second meaning and first meaning? It will imply when the prophet recited the revelations, Satan created different sorts of doubts about its truth and meanings in the minds of the people. In the minds of the people. So actually that some ex-Muslims giving that hadith where he, all the time is wrong, perhaps. Not all Muslims believe in it. That he praised some idols. Excuse me. Because Abu Ala Madudi is a different thing and different altogether, meaning of this. The Arabic word tamanna has two meanings, desire and to recite something. Oh, it has, so I had to look at footnote 2. Sorry about this. Before you, Muhammad. But that whenever he had, never did we send a messenger or a prophet before you, but that whenever he took messengers and prophets before him, okay. And he had a desire, a recital. So then he says, Abul Ala Maududi does not give those hadiths which the ex-Muslims give. And even if the Muslims give this hadith that he glorified the idols, I don't know. I haven't checked the Muslims doing that. Only seeing that ex-Muslims do this. So I'm up with the great kind of many people, I don't know, about the magic carpet, Solomon. So I looked at Solomon also. Flying Christian Princess mentions that it's not in the Quran, it's in the Bible, Kings. 1 Kings, right? So I have a lot of, very few people seem to be honest. I'm up against what kind of people, I don't know. Whether they are totally honest or not, or what is their agenda. Oh, and I might have my interests here, but I was still, recently I was scared again. I was like, oh my God. When I was thinking of this, morality thing, so I had to search out something from the Shias. And I was going to say, okay, let's just give in. And, because the heart of the Quran. It's on the reason how to use is the mind, does the mind have a good side to it? Does the mind have a good, so on thought, Quran and using reason. So let me see. Reason and faith. So, you might think I have interest in this. I will not cheat you, people. I hope not. So, anyways, from what I gathered is, it was quite Quran. But I get a Shia. I got a Shia site here. Shia. Wait a minute on this. Very good. Now I don't get it. The Shias are now. They're not giving it to me. Very good. Very good. Which one did I go to? Now it's coming. No, not this one. Not Shomali. Oh God. I think it was this one. Yes. Allama Mutahari. Right? So you can read this. Conception of reason in the Quran. Let me just, namely the language of rational argument and the language of feeling. So there's some problem. Evidence in favor of the authority of reason. The Quran emphasizes on rationalism. Sure, the worst of beasts in God's sight are those that are deaf and dumb and do not reason. Deaf and dumb meaning spiritually, not physically. God would never do that. It is not for any soul to believe, save by the leave of God, and He lays abomination upon those who do not reason. These are the Quran ayats I've been reading. Say, bring your proof if you are truthful. References to the law of causality, ultimate. The other argument that supports the view that the Quran approves of the ultimate authority of reason is that it defines various problems in the terms of cause and effect relationship. God changes not what is in a people until what they get this, and rational basis of divine commands, ultimate authority of reason. Another argument which proves that the Quran believes in the ultimate authority of reason is that the Quran always explains the rationale behind its commands, laws and precepts. Indeed, prayer forbids indecency and dishonor. It mentions the spiritual effects of prayer, but before coming to prayer, if reason is the authority to come to this, Islam, prescribed for you is the fast, but before coming to prayer, combating deviations of reason. Yes, now this is the thing I wanted to get at. Another evidence in favor of the Quran's affirmation of the authority of reason, which is more conclusive than that mentioned above, is the battle it launched against all those agents which obstruct the proper functioning of reason. You see, we have different patterns, functioning they call it, but I call it different patterns of thoughts. So, to put it well, properly, proper functioning of reason, now we need that, we have that problem too. You see? So how does the Quran solve this problem? The proper functioning of reason. For clarification of this point, we are forced to mention certain things in the way of an introduction. The human mind can in many cases fall into error. Human mind. So now, if we just use the human mind, like when the Quran ayat says, reflect upon the Quran. If it was from other than Allah, it would have reflect. Yani you have to use your reason or reflecting on the Quran ayats. Would be like one ayat from another, right? Reflecting. Like how would you purely reflect on one ayat? So I was thinking of that. Unless there are two. Either you use your mind and from what reflections, where is the light in the mind? And then we have the problem of reason being corrupted here, the functioning of reason. So we need to use the proper functioning of reason. So let's go ahead and see. The human mind can, in many cases, fall into error. This fact is acknowledged by all of us. However, this danger is not limited to the intellect alone, but can equally befall the senses and feelings as well. Visual errors, optical illusions pointed out. Here the question arises whether the faculty of reason should be suspended on account of its occasional failures, or whether we should employ other means for discovering the errors of the intellect and seek to avoid such errors. So this becomes important. In answering this question, the sophist said that reason should not be relied upon, and that basically argumentation and reasoning is an absurd practice. Other philosophers have given a fitting reply to the sophists and said that though the senses can also err like reason, but no one has ever recommended their suspension. So even the intellect has errors. Since it was not possible and to discard reason, the philosophers resolved, and we come to how they resolved it, to find ways of making reason secure from error. During their efforts in this regard, they discovered that all arguments consist of two parts, namely matter and form, like a building and the structure of matter. In order to attain the permanence and perfection of its construction, then it explains that. And then you can read all this. And for judging the validity of the form of any argument, the Aristotelian or formal logic came into existence. The function of formal logic is to determine the accuracy or inaccuracy of the form of an argument and help them. And so how does the Quran help us in this? Thinkers like Bacon and Descartes strove hard to evolve some kind of material logic similar to the formal logic of Aristotle, which was devised for formal reasoning. So I keep saying pure reasoning, but they say Aristotle's formal reasoning. They did obtain certain criteria in this regard, though they are not as universal as those of Aristotelian logic, but are to a limited extent helpful in preventing the mind from committing errors in reasoning. Some may be surprised to know that the Quran has presented such principles for the prevention of any lapses in the process of reasoning, which surpass in merit and precedence the efforts of philosophers like Descartes and others. How? So now we go to approaches to understanding of the Quran. Sorry. The Quranic viewpoint regarding the sources of error, like not following tradition, what our forefathers said. If thou obeyest the most majority on those earth, they will lead thee astray from the path of God. They follow only surmise, conjectures, not following majority of them who follow conjectures, and pursue not that thou hast no knowledge of. Reasoning process, which is particularly relevant in social issues, is imitation, and it explains all this. And then we come to another Quran verse, and when it says forefathers' tradition, the Quran constantly, so Surah 2, Ayat 170, what, even if the fathers had no understanding of anything, and if they were not guided. I certainly went lost in this. I have to do more reading on this. Surah Baqarah at 170, and then the Quran constantly reiterates the view that the idea of antiquity of an idea is neither the evidence of its falsity, nor is it a testimony of its truthfulness. Antiquity affects material objects, but the eternal truths of existence never become old and outmoded. Eternal, what is the eternal truth? And it is, does it, universal truth, eternal, yani out existence, eternal truths of existence. What do you mean by eternal truth? God only knows. God changes not what is in the people, but third source of error pointed out by the Quran is selfish motives tarnish virtue and merit. Now I'm looking within myself again. That have I gone too far? Allama Hali illustrates this point. Selfish desire. So what happened is that if an animal falls inside a well, and the carcass cannot be removed, but what should be done with the well? Incidentally, during the same days, an animal happened to fall into the well in his own house, and it became inevitable for him to deduce an injunction to solve his own problem too. There were two possible ways to solve the issue. Firstly, the well should be totally closed, not to be used again. Secondly, a fixed quantity of water should be emptied from the well, and the rest water of well would be clean and usable. The Allama realized that he could not give a completely impartial verdict about the problem. This is the Allama Hili. Okay, that Yusuf Zedi said he used to be at, two places at one time, simultaneously. People that was, okay. So he couldn't reach an impartial verdict about the problem without interference from his own personal interest. Accordingly, he ordered his own well be closed. Then, with an easy mind, free of the pressure of selfish motives, he turned to deducing the details of verdict in the second case. The Quran contains a large number of warnings regarding the evil of submission to personal desires. So, to be free from personal desires, and then it comes to this. Again I'm reading the first part. Title, Quranic outlook regarding the heart. So, it's just to be quite simple on this, I'll just now end with this and go back. Right? So Satan touched Job with hardship and suffering. But they didn't give up in believing in God, praying to God, complaining to God. So in Surah Anbiya, when the prophet Job puts before Allah his complaint about illness and disease, he does not mention Satan at all, but says only, I have been afflicted with the disease and you are most merciful. So what? But in this he mentions Satan. So this is how they reconcile. It's preferable for two reasons. According this meaning of the lamentation of the prophet Job is preferable, for two reasons. Number one, according to the Quran, Allah has granted Satan only the power of temptation. He has not given him the power to afflict with illness, the worship, afflict with illness. No, he has not given power. According to the Quran, Allah has granted Satan only the power of temptation. Okay, this is quite confusing. Behold, Satan has touched me with much hardship and suffering. Regardless of there's other in Surah Anbiya, definitely I have checked that one too. Job doesn't mention Satan, but it doesn't mean here Shaitan has not touched him with affliction. So this, you can think about it. Surah 22, Ayat 52. And we did not send before you any messenger or prophet, except that when he spoke before you, Satan threw into it. So I was telling the Shias that please see that it's in his desire, in his recitation. It's not over or on his recitation. So you can't say that the pagans were glorifying idols and all that, and give another verse to back that in Surah Qasas, where they were making noises. You know, when the Quran is recited, start making noises. Surah Qasas ayat. But here it just says before. It says in the desire, or in the recital, not over the recital or on the recital. So Satan threw in it, into it, or in it. And now there's another translation which says into it. Fi means into it, not in it. That could mean that the pagans were making noises, glorifying the idols. So not to take the Sunni hadith or explanation, but to take the Shia. However, the Shia commentary is wrong. Because when I read it, it's like before you. But Allah abolishes that which Satan throws in. Throws in. Now you see again it's come throws in it. Not into it, causing some misunderstanding, but in, throws in. Anyways, and also and because the next ayat in Surah Hajj is, but the ones who have knowledge, the next ayat. What did I see? Oh, sorry, excuse me. Yeah. 53 says, Ali, 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 Ali. That is so he may make what Satan throws a trial for those within whose hearts is disease and those hard of heart. This is not Ali. And indeed the wrongdoers are next. No. Now we come to Ali, Ali, Ali. Right? The Shias. Sorry, I don't mean to. And so those who are given knowledge may know that it is the truth from your Lord and believe in it, and their hearts humbly submit to it. So this is the person who has knowledge of the truth. Given knowledge is Ali. He knows for sure. So the pagans, now what the commentary of the Shias they give on this, on that previous ayat. And so the ones who have knowledge know that this is the truth. No glorification of idols or anything. And Prophet Muhammad started to glorify the idols. And then then he thought, oh, Satan has made me say the satanic verses. Made me say this. recite this. No, no, no. It's just before. So if you take my understanding of this ayat, never did we send a messenger or a prophet before you. But when he framed a desire, so is God trying to console the prophet that don't worry, before you also it happened, so now with you it has happened, but it's not. So the Shias have worked it out that if he's trying to console the prophet, yet it happened in the life of the prophet that the idol worshippers, the ones who followed Satan, were doing this, causing this to happen, causing obstacles in his way, in his recital. But if the one who has knowledge of the knowledge, and so those who were given knowledge may know that it is the truth from your Lord. So it's not a trial. I mean, for them, it's not, for these, it's not a trial, given knowledge. But for these, it is a trial that he may make the suggestions thrown in by Satan, but a trial for those in whose hearts is a disease and who are hardened of heart. Quite difficult for me to, because I have these impediments, sickness in the hearts. Verily the wrongdoers are in a schism, far from the truth. You're away from Ali, right? So, sorry, I don't mean to, the Sunnis are away from Ali, that's why. And that's why you are in a schism, not the Shias of Ali. But I don't mean to, please don't go killing anyone or fighting with anyone. I'm just saying this as what I believed in and what I can see. The Shias have been deceived through these ayats to, see, make out that this one, the ones who have knowledge of the book know that this is the truth. So also to the Shias, you see how you have been deceived. No, you don't. Maybe you don't see it. So I'll try to explain it. So what happens here is that even the Shia commentary is wrong. This is the way it's like way of explaining myself how I see it, because it was before you, but not here. Not himself glorifying the idols. Because if you see 54 ayat, it's only a trial for those who have a disease in their hearts. So, leaning towards Shias, right? But to correct the Shias before you, any messenger. Satan can't even, no, maybe outside, yeah, they'll say. They'll say from outside, trying to throw into his recital, prophet's recital. Some misunderstanding. Throwing into it. Before you. And so in this way, what the Shias, okay, maybe, yeah. But Satan cannot touch Prophet Muhammad in any way. Right? Because surely he has no authority over those who believe and rely on the Lord. Shaitan cannot test people. Shaitan cannot afflict. Shaitan cannot be the one to test. Behold, Satan has touched me. But he can touch Job. And yet here, the Sunnis are saying that no. Who is Abul Ala Maududi? Which school of thought did he come from? Islamic school of thought. So anyways, those who believe this, then, that this does not mean that Satan has afflicted me with illness and brought distress upon me, because he doesn't have the power to do that. But it means the affliction of the severities of illness, the loss of property and wealth, and the desertion, the fear. Okay, let's read meaning. Uh, so if you are in doubt, if you're given scripture, believe before we obliterate. Surah Baqarah 268. Satan only threatens you with poverty and orders you to immorality. Orders you, calls you to immorality, or orders you, okay. Orders you, but if you listen, so he only threatens you. So meaning the fear, the affliction, severities, how shall I put it? Desertion of near and dear ones. Yeah. It's not so great a torment, not so great. The trouble for me as the temptation of Satan. Trouble for me, who is exploiting my condition to despair me, to put me in despair of my Lord. That I would not call on him and become ungrateful and become desperate and impatient. Okay, like that. This meaning of the lamentation of the prophet Job is preferably for two reasons. Number one, according to the Quran, Allah has granted Satan only the power of temptation. He has not given him the power to afflict with illness the worshippers of Allah and compel them to deviate from the way of service and obedience by causing them physical ailments, but somehow Shaitan in other ways got to Job, because he does say that in this way, also getting to Job, I would object to. Number two, in Surah Al-Anbiya, when the Prophet Job puts before Allah his complaint about illness and disease, he does not mention Satan. Okay? And says only, I have been afflicted with disease, and you are the most merciful. But there's a whole lot in the Bible. Satan tells God that, your servant Job, righteous servant, or whoever he calls him, he's just praising you and remembering you because, you haven't afflicted him with all that. When you test the tests and trials, he will forget you. So that's why Satan, then God puts this thing on Job and the affliction. But here, Job is saying, Satan has touched me with much hardship and suffering. Like he should have said, Satan has tried to make me go into despair. Or I fear Satan's Satan fearing. So, but whatever way, it's just ridiculous here. And then the Sunnis go and they have a hadith that Prophet Muhammad was touched by Satan. Inside, he started to recite worshipping idols, and so that satanic verse did not come in the Quran. Oh God. So all this problem, you see what I mean by all this, is that but he's saying Satan touched me with hardship. Let's see, 38:41. 38:41. Again, let's see, maybe 38:41. Surah 41. And remember the Zakar, our slave, Ayub, his job, when he called his Lord, that that I have touched me, that has touched me, shaitan, with distress and suffering. With distress. Oh Allah, remove the distress from me. And remember our servant Job, when he called to his Lord, indeed Satan has touched me with hardship and torment. So I'm sorry, this Quran.com, Abul Alam Adudi's doesn't fit in quite well here, right? Power of temptation. So you're going to say it's okay, this, that, but what my reasoning is, that Job is saying Satan has touched me with affliction and with much hardship and suffering, has afflicted me with much hardship and suffering. And now what it means and what it doesn't mean, sorry, right? And that he's still calling out to Allah. When he cried to his Lord, you'll say he's still calling out to Allah. Don't worry about that. I mean, this is a prophet, okay? But no, you can't. But the whole thing here, Shaitan has touched him, afflicted me, he says, with much hardship and suffering. He's saying that. And then you're saying a different thing here, Abul Alam Adudi. Sorry, with due respect, this is not right. Another thing is that Allah. So when Solomon did something wrong here, surely he has no authority over those. Okay, so Surah 16, Ayat 99. Surely he has no authority, meaning Shaitan has no authority over those who believe and rely on their Lord. You say, this is no authority, meaning he was still Job, Ayub was still calling on Allah. Okay, that you can say yes. But that Shaitan had not touched him? No, you cannot say that with hardship and toil and hardship, suffering or distress and this. And how did he touch him? Well, but he did get to him, right? And even though Job was crying out to Allah, you would say that is there. Okay. So they were tested, and so Shaitan has no authority over them. Still a very thin line between all this. Quite confusing. Then Surah 35, Ayat. Solomon said, O my Lord, forgive me and grant me a kingdom which suits not another after me, for thou art the granter of bounties. Now, why did Solomon say, O my Lord, forgive me? Right? Because he did something wrong. Solomon turned away from God and started worshipping foreign gods. This is in the Bible. 1 Kings 11th, starting from the 11th verse, or the 11th chapter. right? You can check this. So what happens is, in the Quran he's forgiven and given a befitting kingdom afterwards. But he had a befitting kingdom before in the Bible. And then we are told in Surah Nisa at 47, O you who were given the scripture, believe in what has we have sent down, meaning to Prophet Muhammad, this revelation, confirming that which is with you, confirming that which is with you, before we obliterate faces and turn them toward the backs, or curse them as we curse the Sabbath breakers. And ever is the matter of Allah accomplished. So you say, oh, the Bible was changed by them already? Because here it's saying it's confirming. And then you're saying, Allah is saying they changed the Bible. So they know the truth and they changed the Bible and they are wrong and they're the worst of creatures. Where's the true Bible that when it wasn't changed by them? So then why are you saying here in Surah 10, Ayat 94? So if you are in doubt, O Muhammad or the believers, about that which we have revealed to you, then ask those who have been reading the scripture before you. Before you. This is not Ale Muhammad, after Muhammad. This is even before Muhammad, who have been reading which scripture? And to whom is it addressed? Is it addressed to a future people who will be in doubt on this scripture? And then you read, then you go to Ale Muhammad. Ask those who have been reading the scripture before you. Who have been given the scripture before you? The truth has certainly come to you from your Lord. So never be among the doubters. Never be among the doubters. I mean, this is quite a mishmash, confusing. So the Bible is changed by them. So they know. So you'll see in Surah Nisa at 47, they know they changed the Bible, and where they changed the Bible, they changed the story of Solomon, that this poor Solomon didn't even, he made a mistake, then he just didn't say well, the tafsir on this is quite something. Surah Sa'ad 35, let me show you. Surah 38, Ayat 35. Let's go to Ayat 34 first, Tafsir. You see, what did he do? So here we're told in Ma'arif al-Quran, Tafsir, commentary. In this verse, Allah has mentioned yet another test of Sayyidina Sulaiman, with a simple statement saying that during this test, some body or part of it was put on the throne of Sayyidina Sulaiman. As for what the body was and what its placement on the throne means and how it was a test, these details are not available in the noble Quran. And this Quran is in detail, explaining everything in detail, clearly, and all that, right? But these details are not available in the noble Quran. So if you're saying those people, the Christians, Jews, changed their books, now please give us the right details, because then where do we go for the details? The Shias have only put that he was sleeping with how many women he had? He couldn't say inshallah. He didn't say, he forgot to say inshallah, and that's why. That was his fault. As for that, okay, where am I now? And what its placement, details are not available in the Noble Quran. So details should have been available, proper details. And please don't tell me as a Muslim you're going to say, I don't care, it doesn't matter. No, it should matter. Because then, where are you going to look for the details? If someone wants to look, it should matter, right? Because the Quran says, I've explained this in detail, and I've brought the truth, which they have in their books, Holy Scriptures, tried to distort what we were told. So now, doesn't the Quran say that this is confirming and it's proper? It is the truth, and this cannot be it can be distorted with the mouth, but not with the hand. Twisted and turned by the Jews and the Christians, as they have done their scriptures too, and with their hands also. So wouldn't it be feasible, reasonable, justifiable for God to give the reason, so that we don't have to, what body, what on the throne means, and how it was a test. So it was a test for Solomon. These details are not available in the Quran, nor are they proved from any Sahih Hadith. Therefore, some authentic commentators, for instance, Ibn Kathir, seems to incline to the approach that anything the Quran has left ambiguous should be left as it is, ambiguous, without having to dig into its details. But do you see this, dig into its details? What is it going against? The Quran ayat which says this is explained in detail. The whole thing is explained in detail. This Quran is in detail explained and clearly. Thus, this is the truth. You must believe in it and have no doubt about it. So that's why you need to have this in details. One should, so please don't say, I don't care. It doesn't really, it's not really needed. What is ambiguous? So, does the Quran say that it has, oh, the Quran says in Al Imran, the ambiguous ayahs, yeah. And for this, and for, oh yeah, so Al Imran verse, which one, 7? So you don't need to know what Solomon did, but the Bible has a different story of Solomon. He fell out. He left God. And so you're reading Queen Sheba and earlier on in the ayats, in the Quran ayats, where is it, about Queen Sheba? No, you need to know what is the truth. The Christians will claim that, the Jews will claim, no, we didn't change the Bible. Here it's in detail, in our Bible it's a different story. And because it gets even more serious, so the details are not, and still some commentators have tried to go after the details of this test and have come up with several probabilities in this connection. Still, there are some of your commentators, Muslim. Some of these probabilities happen to have been extracted. Why? Why did they go? Extracted exclusively from Judaic narrations. For example, the story that Secret of the power of Sayyidina Suleiman was in his ring. On a certain day, the Satan got hold of his ring and ended up sitting on the throne of Sayyidina Suleiman as the ruler looking like him. 40 days later, that ring of Sayyidina Suleiman was retrieved from the belly of a fish. By whom? Okay. After that, I want to know the whole story. After that, he regained his authority as the ruler once again. This narrative, annexed with additional tales, appears in several books of tafsir. But Hafiz ibn Kathir, after identifying all such narratives as Judaic reports, writes in his tafsir, there is a group among the people of the book that does not believe in Sayyidina Suleiman as a prophet. That's right. Therefore, it is obvious all these false tales have been forged by them. So you're going to blame them. But the God that has not given you details, you can't even go. How he's mentioned it here, you can't. Where can you go now to find the details? Tafsir ibn Kathir, page 36, verse 4. Hence, labeling, because this is it's a book that should be complete, correcting the things that they have even written with their hands and done wrong to Sayyidina Suleiman. Right? So we can go to the Christians and Jews and say, look, here is a great story about Sayyidina Suleiman. He's a prophet. And you're saying he's not a prophet. And it's even correcting your details, the details in your Bible about this, and giving us details about it. This is how it happened. This is the body that was put on his throne. This is why he was forgiven, because he didn't say Inshallah. There is another event relating to Sayyidina Suleiman that finds mention in the Sahih of Al-Bukhari and elsewhere too, finding some parts of this event resembling the text of this verse. Some commentators have declared it to be the tafsir of this verse. The gist of the event is that one Sayyidina Suleiman confided as to when he would go to his wives. Each of them would give birth to a boy who will carry out jihad in the way of Allah. But while verbalizing his thought, he forgot to say Inshallah. Yeah, this is, I think, what's written in the Shia tafsir. Did not like this, Allah did not like the slip coming from his great prophet, and he proved this claim of his as false, as only one out of all his wives gave birth to a still child that had one side missing. Some commentators have applied the anatomy of this event on this verse and have said that the expression threw or put the body or its part on the throne means that some attendant of Sayyidina Suleiman brought this body of the baby and put it on the throne. Thereupon Sayyidina Suleiman got alerted and he realized that it was the consequence of not saying Inshallah on his part. Accordingly, he turned to Allah and sought forgiveness for his slip. Shias will say we can only ask Imam Ali. Or the Imams, the Imam of time. Where's our 12th Imam? He's hiding. But what we got from Imam Jafar Sadiq about this, or Imam Ali going to Prophet Muhammad, because Imam Ali was alive during the time of Prophet Muhammad, and Imam Hassan also, and Imam Hussein also at a certain age. So that would be right. But it's not mentioned in the Quran. So the Imam is very important. Discerning for this also. Discerning commentators like Qadi. That's why we don't have to go to these, God knows who, where, these alims. Allama Alusi and others have followed the tafsir, and Maulana Ashraf Thanavi, and also gone for its tafsir, Bayan al-Quran, and his. But the reality is that even this event cannot be called the tafsir of this verse in a certain manner, for the reason that no hadith narration that mentions this event has any indication that the Holy Prophet has ever mentioned it as part of his explanation of the verse under study. Even Imam Bukhari has reported this hadith in his Kitab al-Jihad, Kitab al-Anbiya, Kitab al-Ayman wa an-Nudar. Okay, I can't pronounce this Arabic word. And elsewhere with various versions. But he has not mentioned it under the head of Tafsir of Surah Sa'd anywhere in his the Kitab al-Tafsir. In fact, he has reported another narration under the verse, "Bless me with the kingdom," Surah 38, Ayat 35. Problems, which follows immediately next to the verse under discussion here, and has not made any mention of this hadith. This shows that even in the sight of Imam Bukhari, this particular event is not the tafsir of the verse under study. Instead, this too, like the several other events relating to the noble prophets described by the Holy Prophet, is a separate event that does not necessarily have to be the tafsir of one or the other verse. You see, this way, it's kept like confused. It's kept ambiguous, right? So now what you're going to say is the Jews and the Christians, they ripped. You can read all this. It's still it's ambiguous, right? So now what do you? Oh, my Quran. I know my Quran. All prophets. Look, no, all the Jewish prophets, all the Israeli prophets, all the prophets of the past, Hebrew, this, that. You can, whatever we call them. Never did the things these Christians and Jews have been doing. Talking, putting for these prophets, right? So what happens? Our Quran is the best, and they've given a bad name to our prophet Suleiman. Hazrat Suleiman. Suleiman turned away from God and started worshipping foreign gods. Yeah, so for the sake of his father, David, he retained one tribe, but he lost everything. And he wasn't a prophet. He was King Solomon. And then the king thing was removed from him too. And his kingdom was taken. Everything was taken away from him, except that he was given one tribe under him because of his father's sake, David. Now what are you going to do? Now you come to, now do you see it? So if you are in doubt about which you, forget this now. Remember this Surah 10, Ayat 95 also, 94. And we're going to go to what's going to happen between you and, always this. Who has done it? You know who has done it? He's the culprit. So when that, now I know when the Scamo Union came and told me that you're above average people in things like this. You know, I delve in deeply into matters. So I was telling him, no, I'm very average. Sometimes even below average. But this is very easy to tell. But now this one needs a little contemplation. So how I brought you to Al Imran verse 7, and how you're going to have a conflict and hate these Jews and Christians for changing the scriptures and going against the poor Sayyidina Suleiman. It is he who has sent down to you, O Muhammad, the book. In it are verses precise. They are the foundation of the book, and others unspecific, meaning ambiguous. Trying to, as for those in whose hearts is deviation from the truth, meaning they will follow that of it which is unspecific, seeking discord and seeking an interpretation suitable to them. And no one knows its true interpretation except Allah. And according to the Shias, this part, except Allah and those firm in knowledge. They say we believe in it, all of it is from our Lord, and no one will be reminded except those of understanding. Now, who left that part, Suleiman's part, ambiguous? Huh? God did. Or your prophet killed the way, couldn't get the full, but the Bible was there. Those which are stated in such a way that they are open to more than one interpretation, or those meaning is known only to Allah, or whose meaning is known only to Allah, such as the opening letters of certain surahs. Of course you're going to hate the Jews and the Christians. You feel they changed. Yes, look, here God doesn't, like this prophet slept with his daughter, got drunk, and all this Bible against the prophet. Allah, toba, na'uzubillah. Pakistanis, Muslim Arabs even, Astaghfirullah. You see what he's done? Seeking discord, and you'll blame it. So I got an insight here. This is how, I'm not very eloquent, but anyways, my tutti-putti broken English, not well explained in detail, covering every little detail on the reasons, explaining properly, clearly. Not that eloquent as Imam Ali was also Shias, and as some of you are, and some of your reformers are too. Muslim reformers, Islamic, right? Recently I've been watching, what's his name? Majid Nawaz with Sam Harris. So we should be, as ex-Muslim, if I call you Muslim scumbag sometimes in Muslim world and all this, right? Oh God, I could be doing a great disservice by, not using proper words and all this. Make me feel guilty, hatred, what was happening in the European world against the Muslims. And all this, Muslim reformers. So see how I brought you to this ayat. Yeah, you can blame me for being wrong. And I've got it wrong. I've got all my thinking, I've got selfish desires and all this. I don't know what to say. I've done my best. Anyways, my intention is not to hate the Muslims. But of course I get very angry. And I don't use correct, proper words. Like when we were learning law, the words we had to use was the law language, English. I mean, it was very difficult to learn. And even now about morality and philosophers and all this, surely their English and all is great. The reformers of Islam too. But I just here went back to Majid Nawaz with Sam Harris, wanting to read the book Fate. What is it? The Ending of Fate or something. And so there will be, I don't know what is going on in this world, and I don't know how you can reform this religion. So I'm not a reformist, and you can be a reformist and whatever, a Muslim, but and be very eloquent. But I'm not a reformist. There's a lot of contradictions in the Quran, but it's how you can then try to interpret the Quran ayats. How you want to interpret the Quran ayats, because there's no Pope, but we have a Imam. Shias have an Imam. He's the Pope. Or, no, our Marja is the Pope. Shias have a Pope. The Imam is... If the Imam was present, he would be even higher than the Pope. So, I think they don't know that about the Shias, they don't talk about. They don't know about Shia Islam then. Majid Nawaz doesn't know about Shia Islam. Marjas we have. And our religious Quran experts and the Marjas then check what they're trying to say about the interpretation and all this. We've got it from the Imams, right? And which hadith, which tafsir goes with the Quran ayat, which tafsir, look at the narrations, how they do their research and all this. Point is that they've forgotten that there is a Shia sect, school of thought. Then Majid Nawaz has forgotten this. Because he says there is no marja, there's no pope. And Islam can be the Quranites can be interpreted in various ways. But there's also this problem of interpreting the Quran, the ambiguous ayats. If you even try to, you could be seeking discord and seeking an interpretation suitable to them. And we are not pure human beings, right? We're not purified. Only who are purified. Who are purified. According to the Shias, so what's that ayat? Allah wishes to purify you. So if you're not pure, you can't touch this Quran, right? Or understand the interpretation. You need to lean on these people. Your own interpretation cannot do. You need to have authority. There's a Quran ayat that says that seek those who know if you do not know, and go for the authority, right? That ayat also. Allah wishes to purify you. Now where's that ayat? So my God, as many people as may be angry at me for, not using proper words and creating hatred for the Muslims, they should see that the hatred comes from this more. Oh, and someone could be attacked if they're in a hijab in the European world, because there's anti-Islam also growing. Fear, things like that, God knows what is. So no, I would say that the majority of Muslims are, they think that Islam is a very peaceful religion. They're in this utopia about Islam. In no way does Allah indeed will make you restriction, but will purify you and perfect His favor on you. Indeed, that possibly. Now, for whom is this purification? There's another ayat here. So, now we can also be purified. Then purify yourselves. And if you are in state of janaba, then purify. I was like, but He intends to purify you and complete. Oh, He intends to purify us? Like when I was a Shia, really. Because it says, do not tahara. Okay, purify. Is this tahar zakiya? So, do not ascribe purity for yourselves, to yourselves. Do not ascribe. What does that mean? So, I don't intend to, but I can, if I don't use correct words, then I'll be blamed for spreading the hatred and all that, which goes against, but my actions and my words, say it all. But I wouldn't go out and hit just because someone is wearing a hijab. I might feel a little intimidated when someone says salam alaikum to me, because they think I'm Muslim. I've told them. But what if I find out that they know I'm now an ex-Muslim and they say salam alaikum to me? Might get a little bit intimidated when I find out that someone is being dishonest with me or trying to, show that they're very nice Muslims, and and they don't have any grudges or anything against an ex-Muslim, but with their great manners. So I could get intimidated, irritated, aggravated, but I condemn killing Muslims and, hitting them and snatching their hijabs away and attacking hijabi women, ladies or girls. This is exactly what I would not want. Maybe, I don't know if I go crazy. I can't promise anything. I don't know where actually my mind is already gone case. What's coming to me? So I apologize about Daniel Pearl's thing and all that. I should have made a video before, a live stream, saying that I apologize. I don't know what this is, the control and all the nonsense that's coming to me. It could hurt his friend, who lost such a great friend like Daniel Pearl, a great family friend he was to her, and she's lost that friend in such a tragic way. That's like, for me, not being, I didn't know Daniel Pearl. I wasn't a friend of his. So all the things coming, and I'm, going on social media, compelled to say these things against a friend and all. There was jealousy and and this stubborn energy here. So there's one. I have to deal with this, and all the family members and all who would be getting it because it's like, for me it's like, the imam has come, and it's that before this it was like, you now see it publicly. It's like Jesus saying that what you've done in the dark will be said out open. It's the second coming of Jesus. Our imam has come, Jesus has come, but there's no announcement, and my heart was sinking, and I was compelled. And then they were telling me not to use social media. And by now, I was addicted to Facebook long time ago in Karachi. They got me addicted, no, before that even. Talking to them, because I had to sit with them and use them. And I told them, I'm using you because so I keep away from my principal. So I'm troubling you people here on MSN Messenger now, from Desi chat to MSN. And if I didn't go, I would get a jerk when I was talking to Anand Kiran. Anand Kiran started to come, or Atif Malik. And so I said, okay, let's use these people. And things like that were happening. But the end of the time is I'm more, so I was saying things, what Bibi Fatma Zahra was communicating to me against whoever and whatever was coming. And let's see if this is it would stop me. Because I gave myself to God, right? It's like, and I believe that Ahl Bayt would completely get my delusions away from me, like wipe out, because I pray to God. So if they pray for me, that I would come out of all the delusions, all my desires, and be completely like religious, sincerely religious. There was a time when I said, I don't have the strength, I'm going. Please, God, I put myself in your hands. And Ahlul Bayt. You see, a dream came, don't go to that place, my beloved, it will happen on its own. I couldn't take the risk of going to the place. So for that also, then Yusuf said he was there, and he said he had prayed to help me not to go to that place, because the lady was criticizing me and maybe didn't want me anymore. So she later said she doesn't want that. But I have been in a delusion, and it's increased, and the mental illness increased. So all this is still happening. And there are people on Facebook, I'm posting like anything, bringing out, abusing. And when it comes to that, when my mental illness gets aggravated. Recently also it got aggravated with a Pakistani on Facebook, and I started abusing later on. So this is the problem. Anyways, I did from my side, I was like, I stopped going to that lady because of the dream I had that it will happen on its own, and because it felt like it was a religious dream, like God was telling me. And I was near area which is our Imam Barga and our mosque, Mahfil Shah Khurasan. I didn't go to the lady. But still, my mental illness was, I became worse in delusions and everything. And this is where I'm here, where I have come. So don't be mental like me, and don't hit any or harm any Muslim. But my wounds were not. They were opening my wounds, and soft heart, like even to bring out some good, something that someone has done against me, like against someone who has done something against me, I would hide that because my heart would not want it. Because there would be that feeling. You see, the best thing is to keep quiet. You get that peaceful feeling. Like if someone has abused you, you keep quiet, and it's this really beautiful feeling that comes later on when you keep patience. And I started to, when God gave me a miracle, I was like, oh, thank God, thank God. God, I cannot thank you enough. Because I stopped going to another lady I was attached to, my teacher. And I was like, oh my God, the best consolation is that you did not, at the end of the day, you did not harm anyone, you did not hurt anyone. Even if that person hurts you, taunts you, injures you, abuses you, but if it gets physical, please seek help, right? But I hope it doesn't come to that. But the raping in Pakistan and all this is of minorities, to convert them forcefully, so it's shocking. Okay, so all this and what's happening in Israel and Palestine is shocking. And how I see things, it could be shocking. Majority of mostly all Shias also are peace-loving and martyrs. They like to get martyred for Imam Hussein. Like, we're not organized in Karachi, not like the Ismailis. So we go for the majlises and our men can be gone, martyred. So even in this very high, like a genocide against Shias. So I don't want anyone to get hurt or anything, but after all, I do get angry, and I do say that it's mental illness, whatever it is. I did my best. I'm doing my best, but I don't know if people are going to say she should not come online. And those I've heard who are innocent, I just have to apologize, and I'm really sorry. But I don't promise that I will stop this, because I didn't realize, it was very shocking that God would not help me in this. So I don't know what this is, really. And if you want to believe me about the Islamic thing, you can. If you don't, then don't. But I don't know whether I encourage freedom of speech and all this. How I understand it, I still don't understand. I don't think one should hurt others. But you can offend someone. It's up to you. But I wouldn't allow that. But I would allow the other, I hope, freedom of speech in that way. You can offend. You can even personally attack me verbally and all that. And about discussions, it was my religion, so it does, and because of my condition, I mean, it has gotten to me. I'm very angry at God and all this type of God. And Prophet Muhammad, I feel this is not the true God. And also the Hindu God, I don't believe that God would not know everything. Like I say, if you give me signs, what is it? That I'm Radha Rani and I don't know. And I don't believe a God who doesn't know. You can bring love in and say it's all love brought this and Radha Rani. Maybe I'm in a delusion again that I'm Radha Rani. So I followed a little bit, some years. I followed Paramahamsa Vishwananda and all this. I hope I don't get zapped and pulled into this again. That Radha Rani out of love and I'm Radha Rani and this and that. I'm struggling with that, so I hope you understand. I will go back to love because it is quite a attraction. It pulls me. That love is something that there's a song. I don't know much about philosophy, biology, but I know that I love you. So if in the I don't know how the Hindus take Radha Rani, but I feel if she was a goddess, then she would have given you all the names of the galaxies and things and scientific. We must be beyond science, but with science. Like, I should be talking to Richard Dawkins as, yes, this, and then we come to the source. I know everything. Like, I know everything. I know Einstein and this, like that. I should be talking to the scientists, all the scientists. And I know what you know, and I know more than you. And this is how you build the telescope, and this is how you build the rocket, and everything, covering everything. So that would be God for me, the all knowing, the omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. And if I've missed any. So I'm bad at words and using proper words and all this. And people could be angry, even the Muslim reformers at me, and some ex-Muslims also have gained a bad name everywhere. So I feel alone. Yeah, and sometimes loneliness does get to me. But even though there is the love I feel or something, the little bit of that's why I'm here. And I don't feel depressed much because I feel the love of the Muslim in my country. Love, they want me to stay alive. They don't want me to kill myself. They don't want me to feel suicidal or lonely, alone. Solitary is something different. But so I feel that my country, I feel love. I sometimes say I'm deluded. And I'm grateful for it to them, for this. I can't say that I would say that I don't want myself, but I do abuse and all this, so wouldn't that make me hypocritical if I say that? I wouldn't go snatching someone's hijab or hitting her because she's wearing hijab. If I did that, then certainly something is, I'm a deranged, a cruel person, racist, and all this. Then there's something terribly wrong with me. Like right now, I'd say there is something wrong with me. And this I'm not doing so that you go hating the Muslims and hurting them or harming them in any way. Oh, it's a complicated case of mine. Nothing is helping me to find that peace. And then I could just be quiet. There was a scare of going into that self-pity. There was a time that I was graced by God and I knew what self-pity does. Either I was contemplating on that too. Like, when you start to feel sorry for yourself, why me, why me? Then you can become really horrible also. You could go into self-destruction or things like that. It's very bad to feel that self-pity, wallowing in self-pity. So this, not pride in myself, but that God had graced me. The problems of self-pity, self-centered people with pride also don't say anything, or they become like that, or love. I need love. They demand that you be kind and loving to me, and things like that. The ones who try to wallow in self-pity. Problems with self-pity, you can see. Feel self-centered sorrow. Yeah, so this happened to me. It started to happen to me, and I was like, oh my God, now. It happened to me when I was in London, when I was feeling homesick. It started to happen to me because I became weak, feeling homesick. Human weakness started to happen to me when I was in London. Okay, but not due to this mental illness. Okay, thank you very much. I will continue later.